Welcome, Wildcat fans, to a special episode of Weber State Weekly. This is going to be a club sports episode, and I'm your host, Colby Peterson. Want to remind everybody that we are a member of the Big Sky Podcast Network. On just today's show, like I said, we're going to be talking club sports, and we're talking baseball. Baseball team reached out to us and said, "Hey, man, how about you? How do we get on the show?" Like, bro, let's have baseball on the show. We got baseball cooking right now, Major League Baseball in
Oh
full
yeah.
swing. But it's like, hey, and of course, we're talking about the Bat Cats, and all the good things that have been happening with softball, which we'll be talking about a little bit later tonight with Emily Rule. But we wanted to talk a little bit about the softball or the baseball team, the club sports, because they don't get a lot of love because they're not scholarship. And so we've got men's baseball club president Jaden Arsenault on the show tonight to talk to us a little bit about how does it work, what's going on, all that good stuff. So Jaden Arsenault, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us here on Weber State Weekly.
Hey, thanks for having me, Colby.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
awesome.
excited, man. So, I mean, let's kind of give Wildcat fans a little bit of background on you, man. So, I mean, from what I understand, currently a senior at Weber State, and so probably
Yep.
graduating soon. Talk to us a little bit about you, man. Like, what are you studying? Where are you from? Like, what do you do?
Okay, so I'm originally from the Boise area. Graduated high school 2018. Figured I needed a place to go to school. Went to Weber State, tour visit. This place is perfect, small, nice, compact. I like it. Go in here. I am also now a health administration major and going to graduate with that this summer. So I'm really
Okay.
close to that.
Yeah. So that health admin, I mean, obviously, good market for that in
Oh
in
yeah.
in Utah, but obviously, I mean, you can take that job anywhere. I mean, everybody's
Oh
got
yeah.
hospitals, right?
Oh, anywhere that's clinical, anywhere that's hospital, anywhere that's old folks home, I'm there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I live in Nashville. A lot of stuff going on out here with healthcare. But what about you, man? You mean you planning on heading back up to Boise when you graduate, or going to stick around in Utah for a bit?
You know what? As much as Utah's been great the last 4 years, I'm ready to just go back to Boise and live my life there, man.
Can't blame you. I personally really like Boise as a town, and it's grown a lot in the last
Oh
decade.
yeah, it's been wild growing up there from like 4 years old to graduating high school. Like even now, like we got like five soup grocery stores near me now, and when I moved there, we had none. It's crazy.
Yeah, blown up quite a bit. Of course, being back in Boise, you get the opportunity to see the conference tournament in hoops every
Oh
year,
yeah.
which I mean, I personally am on the record as liking that site for that tournament. I think it's really great. Conference does a great job putting
hmm
that on, and so there are some advantages to moving back up to Boise, man. Can't blame
Yeah.
you there.
We got a bunch of small town independent league baseball. We got minor league hockey. We got college summer league baseball, and obviously Boise State. I'm
Mhm.
not a big fan of Boise State football, but they're there, and yeah, man, we got a lot to do around there sport wise.
Well, say hi to our man George Tarlis while you're up there playing his senior season in a Broncos uniform.
Yep, he's
But
back in Boise.
Yeah, he is. Originally, his family moved from Greece to there and now
Yep,
heading back up to be with the fam and play a senior season as an edge rusher. I think George is going to do fine.
yep,
But let's talk a little bit about this baseball stuff, man, this club stuff, because like I said, we haven't really ever talked about this on the show. And
yeah.
so you reached out to us and said, "Hey, man, would love to have an opportunity." So like we said, let's do it. So club baseball, man. Obviously, like we said at the top, you guys not actually scholarshiped, and so everybody's just kind of, hey, man, when I've got some time, I have an opportunity, I've got some space in between classes, I'm gonna come out here and play with you guys. And so talk us
Yep.
through how that club, sports thing works.
So club sports, it's kind of like like you have your high school level and then you have your college level. We're like sort of right in the middle. So we are still like competitive, even though it's only club, we're still competitive. We have full seasons. And the way you do it is it's pay to play. So you pay your fee, you come out and practice, and if you get chosen to be on the starting squad, you're there. If not, you work your way up, you try and get better, try and beat that person in your position. And it's sort of just like the high school college thing. You're always trying to beat out that next guy.
Okay. And so obviously, it seems like maybe there's a little bit of there are only so many roster spots, so you're trying to beat
Yeah.
out those guys. Not everybody starts, of course,
No.
and there's going to be a bit of a bench. And so for you now being a senior, I mean, talk to us a little bit about your journey, man. Did you start off as like kind of a bench
Uh,
guy?
y-
I mean, you're a pitcher
s-
and a first baseman, and then kind of work your way up or
yeah.
straight in.
So I came here fall of 2018 and I was immediately put on the PO list. the pitcher only list.
Okay.
And I did that for about 2 years because we always just had the same first baseman who was there longer than me. And then this past year, I went back out for first base and sort of won that spot and proved that I can also hit a little bit and also pitch, not as much though, because yeah,
So what
shoulders
do you
about had it.
Well, I mean, which did you like better, man? I mean, obviously, like you said, there's some limitations now physically with pitching, but still, able to hit the ball and play on defense. But which did you like better, playing in the
Oh,
infield or being the guy who throws the ball?
honestly, I prefer the infield. Sometimes pitching, there's so much pressure going on, but I also like
Mhm.
that pressure. I don't know. It's hard to pick. It's like 50-50 for me.
Okay. So, like you said, guys, they will say, "All right, I'm interested in becoming a player for the club sport. I'm going to come out. There's some sort of tryouts that you guys have. When do those usually happen?"
So it's not really much a tryout as it is like you just show up and play. So we honestly don't have a roster limit, but we do limit the number of guys that travel with us
Hmm.
and play in games on the active roster. So I'll use this an example. In 2019, fall of 2019, we had 32 guys come out for the team, which is the highest number we've ever recorded. And we only took 24 to be on the game squad and travel squad. So you're basically fighting for a, I guess you can say you're fighting for a 24 spot man roster at that
Okay.
point.
So 24 guys on the travel roster, like you said. I mean, you guys play. I mean, there are some games that get played at home, but
Hmm.
also there's a fair bit of travel that goes on. And so, if
Yeah.
you've got one of those travel spots, you will hit the bus and head up to Bozeman, or maybe somewhere where it's
Yeah.
warm.
We don't really, we have to drive ourselves because we're a club and we're not sanctioned, but yeah. But yeah, the
Okay.
drives suck.
So everybody just kind of like road trip,
Y-
caravan up to
Yep.
wherever.
That's exactly how it's done. The club pays for the hotel. They go, okay, you're here this weekend. Okay, we're staying here. Okay, we're going, and we're on
Cool.
our way.
So roster kind of gets set, and then I kind of wanted to ask you who decides who makes the cut and who doesn't. Is it the
Okay,
upperclassmen, the seniors, or is there some other person that makes that choice, like a manager or something?
so it's we actually have a coach that helps make the decision with us.
Okay,
So it's myself and then two other presidency members, the VP and the secretary and the coach. We all us four sort of determines okay who's on the roster, who's on the practice squad, and mainly it's the coach though that has the final say in who he wants to take with us.
okay. And so, I mean, last question about this mechanic stuff, and then we'll talk a little baseball because we're
Okay.
talking a lot of inside baseball right
Yeah.
now. But so, like you said, I mean, is it the upperclassmen? How do the folks get elected? Like, how did you become the president? Is it a seniority thing?
Okay.
Is it like a team captain kind of thing? Where it's like the guys feel that you're the man, and so that's how it
So
gets decided.
yeah, so the way it happens is it's sort of like an election. So you have like X amount of guys going out for a certain spot. So uh recently or last year I was the only one that ran for president and we had only one guy run for VP and one guy run for secretary. So we were sort of put into those positions without any competition.
Sure.
Um we currently just had our most recent election and we had at least four guys running for two different spots and only one guy running for the secretary position. So then it's a voting process like, okay, he gets one vote from that guy, he gets one vote from that guy. And it's just like a electoral thing.
Hmm. And so, you ended up winning out. Now, club president Jaden
Oh, yeah.
Arsenault in his
Yep.
senior season.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
so
here.
let's talk a little bit about the game, man. And so,
Okay.
doing a little bit of research. I mean, you guys play in kind of this weird mix of Big Sky slash Mountain West teams. So Utah State in the conference, as it were. Then
Hmm.
you've got Utah's. We said Utah State, Idaho State, Boise State, Montana State, Montana, and then the Wildcats. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, does that ever change? Is that pretty consistent? Like, talk to us about like why those teams.
Okay. So about like the way they do it is by region.
Okay.
So we are actually in the North Pacific East region. So it's all of us Eastern Pacific schools. So that Boise State is like the cutoff.
Okay.
So Boise State's the cutoff, and then the Montana schools are the cutoff, and we're just happen to be right in the middle of that. Obviously,
Okay.
the more southern team
Yeah.
there.
I'm thinking, yeah, the most southern team. But
Yeah,
it's weird to say that because it's like Ogden, not terribly southern.
no, it's mostly northern. It's
Yeah.
mostly northern. Yeah,
So let's talk about the game, man. I mean, like I said, you guys got the roster set. We kind of have an idea of who is in the conference. I'm sure you guys have out of conference games. From what I saw this year, you've played teams like St. Mary's, a D2 team. You've
yep.
played Wyoming. You've played some teams from California. But talk to us about the history of the club and the success that you guys have
Okay,
had on the diamond. In your time, because it's like you've been there for 4 years now. Like, talk
yeah.
to us about how things have kind of gone for the club team because I don't know that people know that.
Okay, so my first year, for, the fall and spring, we were average. Like we were a good like 500 team, but we were only one spot away from the winning the region that we were in. Like we went like 8-6 or something. The only team that beat us, of course, is Utah State.
Uh,
Um, yeah, and then the fall 2019 2020 was probably the most successful year we've had since I've been here. Uh, I believe in the fall we went like 22, 23, and 3 or something like that.
wow.
Yeah. With our biggest deficit that season being against Boise State. We scored like a total of 43 to 3 runs over 3 games.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
blasting the ball.
And then the spring of 2020, uh the showcase that we didn't do so hot in, still working out kinks after a few guys left. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then we suspended that season. And then last year we had the opportunity to play, but we did like don't want to risk any factors that because there are many factors that play a part in it. Don't want to have to worry about it. Cancel the season. And then we finally reopened back up this season, 21-22.
Okay. So you guys played in the fall, if I understood it correctly, looking at the
Yeah, we
schedule.
did. We did play in the fall this most recent 2021.
And then but the main chunk of the season is actually in the spring.
That's correct. Yes, that's the go time.
That's go time. Right.
Yes.
And so right now, Wildcats a little bit of a tough row to hoe. Winless in conference play. Man, I mean, Idaho State and Utah State really seem to have the Wildcats number this year. There've been a lot of really big games with a lot of runs scored. But
Yeah.
but Boise State, they seem to be you guys kind of seem to be like neck and neck. It's
Yeah. Um yeah, over the so far this spring it's been tough because we went from having 20, like we said earlier, 24 guys to only having 13 guys.
wow.
So yeah, we saw a drastic like over 50% drop in numbers. And um there were a few games that we just got in our heads and couldn't really pull it together, and just sort of like, oh my gosh, what do we do? We're trying to figure stuff out still with the number of guys we got. And so it's been a really long road trying to get things back on track
Yeah, I mean,
for
I
us.
imagine going 2 years without playing, guys kind of, of course they
Yeah.
graduate. You don't have opportunities to recruit during those to kind of refill. So now all of a sudden you start in this season, you've got a deficit of guys that you hadn't been able to build back up over years, and so you've got to do
Yeah.
2 years worth of recruiting, and
Yeah.
it's just tough. It's just tough to get
Yeah.
guys out.
And it's hard to kind of recruit because people don't know we're an actual thing. So, but it's nice though, like, I think I've been running the social media a little bit better, so, like, I mean, I'm actually gotten, like, 3 or 4 people messaging me to, "Hey, I'm graduating this high school this year," or, "Hey, I'm a freshman this year and like to play next fall and come try out." I'm like, "Perfect. That
That's great.
works."
That's great.
Yeah.
So, like we said, I mean, Wildcats currently 0-6 in conference play. Like we said, some tough games. Like you said, the roster's pretty thin, 13 guys on in a game where you have to field nine.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, guys can get tired real quick.
Yes. So
But
we're playing like a little league ball with that. Like, we have to be able to play multiple positions with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's a utility man at this point.
Basically, yeah. That's how it goes.
So, talk to us a little bit about the upcoming schedule, man, because you guys are right in the middle of it.
Mhm.
If I saw correctly, there's some games against Boise State coming up. Is that right?
Yeah, we have games this weekend on Saturday and Easter Sunday against Boise State at Ben Lomond High School.
Cool. And they
Yeah,
got a brand new facility up there, right?
So I'm told, yeah, they have a new field put in or something like that. I'm not sure on that, but yeah.
You should be okay. But I mean, does it cost anything to show up? You just show up and watch you guys play baseball.
Games are 100% free to public. Anyone can come in and watch. They can come in and hang out. They can come in and watch us lose or win. Hopefully win. They can just come support us and yeah.
Nice. And so we'll be fielding 13 guys, couple of games. So there'll be two, one on Saturday, like you said, one on Sunday. And so, what time do you guys usually have games? Is it like a set
So
time, or does it move around a little bit because guys got to travel? You know.
yeah, it's based on what other teams can do. So this Saturday our we have a doubleheader actually, and the first game starts at 1 and then we'll have like about a 30-minute intermission and then second game will soon follow after. And then Easter Sunday uh game is at 10 a.m.
Ooh, bright and early.
Yeah, we got to
Bring your
try and get
Easter
that
eggs.
done. Hey, we're getting that done before Easter dinner. That's what we're trying to do.
Can't blame you there.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, all those games. Do you guys normally play at Ben Lomond? Is that a place where folks can anticipate seeing you, or I mean, you guys move around a lot?
This spring has been a little difficult. Our main home field is usually Fort Bonaventure, but
Hmm.
I know for a fact they absolutely redid their whole entire field. They put in a turf infield and they're placed fresh sod in the outfield. So hopefully
Nice.
we'll play there for our last home series.
All right. And so I want to talk a little bit more about the team, man, before we wrap up. And so right now, it seems like I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of like talk about what are some of the strengths of the team right now. Like, where do you feel like it's not a lot of guys, but the guys that you do have, they do this really well. Like, what do you think the
Okay.
thing is?
So the thing I think we have going for us right now is honestly our pitching. Our three main starters and some of our reliever guys. That's probably where we're the strongest at, I believe. We got a freshman, two freshmen, and then one senior. And the two freshmen are Wade Rogers and Marcus Collister. They're both really good guys. Wade can go 100 plus pitches, and he's like, okay, where do you want me next? And then Marcus, the other freshman, he doesn't throw the hardest, but hey, he gets us outs, and he gets the guys to put the ball on the ground and get us easy balls to get outs on. And then we have our senior Logan, who's been there since I've been there, and he's just the tall guy that has that arm angle that's really hard to pick up. So that's where I think our strong suit is at this moment in time.
Nice. So, like we said, I mean, folks there is a schedule, and you'll be playing in Ogden this weekend. But I mean, how many weeks left before we get into regionals and playoffs and all that good kind of stuff?
Okay. We have currently this weekend and then following weekend and the weekend after that. To qualify for regionals, you have to be in the top two in your conference,
Mm.
and I think I haven't looked recently. So we have to fight to get back up there. And then
Okay, so you're
after
gonna have to win some
regionals
games.
happen, yeah, after regionals happens, you go to the World Series, and that's taking place in I believe South Carolina this year.
Nice. And so, should you guys win regionals, then everybody kind of can they all get together someplace in South Carolina, and then you guys just, I mean, you guys kind of schedule it the way that college baseball works, where it's like, all right, we're gonna play around in here, and winner gets the trophy.
Yeah, pretty much. So they take the top teams from each conference and region, and you play like bracket style play, one game elimination. You lose, you're out. You
Oh
win, you
wow.
keep going. Yeah. So it's kind of like the pool play, but it's more like one and done. So you have to win. You have to win the one to go to the next one.
Yeah. Well, man, it sounds like there's a lot of really interesting and cool baseball on tap. I mean, folks, they're always, I'm one of these folks always longing for the big sky to bring baseball back. Would love to see that, but as it sits right now, it doesn't look like it's happening in the future. So, club baseball at Weber State, a good option for those folks. Where do they follow you, man? Like, I mean, you guys, like you said, are on social media. What's the
Yeah.
best way for folks to get a hold of you and stay in the know on what's happening with the club baseball team at Weber
So
State?
they can check us out on Instagram at Weber State underscore baseball. They can check us out on Facebook at Weber State Baseball. They can also personal message, the Facebook page, or DM the Instagram page to get a hold of us. They can email us at baseball at weber.edu. And yeah, just send us a message. We'll respond as fast as we can. And if you're a kid wanting to come play, come out and play. We're ready to have you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like since you guys have lower roster numbers, like if guys want to come out and play now, you'd be glad to take them.
Oh, yeah, we'll be glad to get you guys set up and ready for the upcoming fall. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And then last thing I wanted to say, man, this is just sort of a former development director. I've had the chance to support club baseball in the past. Make a little donation. You guys looking for donations or anything like that? To kind of help defray some of the costs of travel because, like you said, club only. The university only pays for so much. You guys are caravanning it to some of these places,
Yeah.
and they could be road trips, man.
Yeah, so they can donate through the campus rec office, actually. So you can call campus rec office and they'll divert your call to help donate, or they have a link at the bottom of their page that you can click donate, fill out the form saying you want your money to go to Weber State Club Baseball, and that money will go right to us and help us pay for jerseys and travel and gear and help our guys out a lot.
Nice. Well, Jaden Arsenault, any last thoughts before we wrap up this conversation?
Just hopefully we see you guys out this weekend at Ben Lomond High School on Saturday and Sunday.
All right. I know sometimes people will they'll stream some of these stuff. You guys stream the games at all, or is that
Uh,
just like an extra layer that you're not doing right now?
that's just an extra layer we don't have the capacity to do right at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, understandable. Well, Jaden Arsenault, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us a little bit about how club baseball works at Weber State. So, for the folks who kind of want to support, get an opportunity to go out and see guys play in those Wildcat jerseys, here's your opportunity. Go down to Ben Lomond High this weekend. You'll get a chance to see the Wildcats take on Boise State. This is like it's like the old Big Sky days, It's just like
Oh man. Yeah.
BSU back in the
Oh
Big
yeah.
Sky. This is great. So,
Yep.
Jaden Arsenault, thanks so much for taking some time. We'll wrap it up like we usually do. I'll say it: Weber State, Weber State.
Great, great, great.
Go Wildcats.
Cats. Yep.